have seen her face, but I'm not going to give you her name yet, but I'm going to tell you a lot about her. She began her banking career in 1976 with Icon Merchant Bank and joined the International Merchant Bank IMB in 1982, where she was appointed General Manager, IMB Securities in 1989 and Executive Director in 1990. Well, she is now at the Bank of Industry, and under her, loans improved phenomenally. We were talking about a woman heading SEC just now. It's my pleasure to welcome Miss Evelyn Oputu.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good of you to join us this morning.
Okay.
Now, how are you coping with managing BOI? Being a woman and all that, because it seems that women heading agencies and businesses have peculiar problems.
Well, for me, being a woman actually has been a positive attribute to heading an institution, because as a woman, you're a wife, you're a mother, you're a sister, and you head a home, and you have to be able to multitask. And women, in my view, are naturally nurturing. So if you have a nurturing character, everybody under the institution becomes your child or your sister or brother or daughter or son. So I see being a woman as a very strong positive attribute that we bring to the workplace rather than it's being negative. I just don't see it that way.
Have you had to work extra hard to prove yourself, being a woman?
Absolutely, absolutely. As a matter of fact, the average woman in the workplace is new. I mean, in the past 40 years, where the women's liberation and the women's move became very strong all over the world, we have naturally had to more than prove ourselves, because a woman going into the workplace is new. And secondly, when you're a minority, there's a certain insecurity you take to the job. You have to more than prove yourself to be accepted. Whereas a man can understand how it takes, they always play this networking. Women have a different way of looking at things. We band in a way that men don't. They play football, we play a different kind of game. So it's difficult. It's different, not difficult. It's different in the sense we bring the feminine side of our character and our nature to the work, which men have too, but it's played down. But we don't always, as women, take the negative side. That is the masculine side of our character. However, being a minority therefore means that you have to more than prove yourself. You have to work 10 times as hard if you want to be taken seriously, because ab initio, woman, what are you doing here? You should be in the kitchen. So we have to prove, but that is at the beginning stage. What I did find about men, though, is that once you prove that you're up to the task, they don't even remember anymore that you're a woman.
But isn't that whole attitude changing now about what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be in the kitchen? Isn't that whole attitude, because there are more and more women rising to the top and being in charge of agencies and businesses?
Well, I would say yes and no, because you see, culturally and also in terms of the religions that exist in the world, women are defined differently. And the people who are looking at women as contributing to society are those that are looking at the big picture. Because you cannot say that 50% of your population will not be empowered and you want to be part of the human race. The others are doing so everywhere in the world, even societies that were hitherto closed. So it is, I would say, in terms of the best interest economically, but in terms of entrenched attitudes, it is still there. I would say so.
You use the word nurturing. And 2005, 2006, you were given a baby to nurture, Bank of Industry. And that baby has grown massively over the last 6-7 years. What was it you took on when you took that challenge? What was it you had at the back of your mind that you're going to turn this 9.8 billion naira project to 200? Did it cross your mind that you were going to be able to do that over the next 6-7 years?
It did. I would say thank you. It didn't cross my mind that I couldn't. What crossed my mind was that here I am, I'm a Nigerian woman who has grown up in a beautiful country, And I woke up one day and there was no middle class. And how would I be able to talk to myself, even look myself in the mirror and face myself? I'll be one of the complaining masses if I don't do anything. So what we said, I said to myself, and I told my colleagues, that we're going to change this space. We're a development bank, and we're going to do development that touches people. And where will we touch people? We're going to look at the small businesses. We're going to look at SMEs. We're going to look at things that impact our people. We're going to let the people of Nigeria feel the warmth of development on themselves. And as a woman, it comes naturally, if you have raised 4 children like I have, that you can draw water from stone. If you are determined to do it, you have to. It isn't something that I didn't think I couldn't do. The only thing is that I just didn't know that the way forward would be as rough as it came.
How rough has it been then?
Well, the thing
Tell
about
us
it,
about the real rough edges that you've had to smoothen.
well, it isn't that they were rough. It is that you start out with a dream, with a vision, and you need people to buy into that dream. And the first time you talk about it, no one believes you, from the smallest to the highest. I'm not talking about just the staff just looking at me and saying small businesses. It was across board. Nobody wanted to hear it. So I didn't lose sight of what I wanted to do. I didn't say that nobody believes me and therefore I'm going to just sit in the corner and cry about and moan and say it can't be done. Because if you don't believe in something, you don't provide resources. So the first thing that one needed to do was to get the staff in-house, to also share in the dream, to show them that once upon a time we used to have a middle class, and this middle class was not all government workers or contractors and things. There were people who did things, and we can go back there. It was a beautiful era. And so, first thing that happened is the staff believed in what I was saying. And I said, let's do this, let's work together. So if you have a team of people who believe, I said, trust me, and they did. And so we were able to give each one a strategy. You had a target, and it was your responsibility to meet that target. And together we fought to make it happen. I think that's it.
Now, tell us more about the work that you do, because industry in Nigeria, to many of us, seems to be dying. But here you are doing a lot to make sure that it doesn't die. So tell us about the work that you do to help these industries.
Well, the first thing you find, when we started, we termed it the paradigm shift. That there's going to be a shift in the paradigm in Nigeria. That we're not going to be traders, impacting other people's GDP. That we're going to impact our own GDP. So the first thing we said we were going to do, we defined what kind of industry are we going to look at. We said, because NIDB, a precursor institution, actually did big ticket items, that we're going to do the small and medium work. And we defined it. We're going to actually support industries that utilize mostly local raw material because of the impact. The value chain, it goes all the way down. 70% of our population live in the rural area. Then we're going to support industries that have high employment ratio. Because again, there are lots of unemployed people in Nigeria. Not just unemployed, but underemployed. Third, we have most of our of our bills, all of the earnings, impact other people's economy. We're importing a lot. So we're going to look at items that are import substitution or export driven. So we define those first. Then we're going to actually dedicate 85% of our resources to small and medium enterprises. Even the 15% that are large enterprises we're going to do is going to have a linkage to the SMEs and also down to the bottom of the pyramid, so that in every naira that we invest in a company, it will have a value chain. So it's not just that company. The input that is coming, it will ensure that more is produced at that level. So basically, agribusiness, also mining of local raw material. So we pushed it that way. That is what we do in terms of how we did it. But when we started it, we found that actually industrialization is quite challenging. Whereas if you trade, you just have your inventory, you sell it, and no problems. when you go into industry, you almost practically have to be local government of your own. You have to have your own water, you have to have your own power, you have to have your own everything. And people are coming, the tax man is coming at you, all kinds of challenges, even getting documentation. So we felt that we couldn't expect these people to be encouraged to do this on their own. We were going to also play an advocacy role. So having myself run a small business in the past, where I added value, I did manufacturing before, I had some sense as to the kind of challenges that a manufacturer would face. So we started playing an advocacy role, intervening on their behalf with state governments, telling them the kind of problems they encounter in not getting their CFO, for instance, getting the consent. So we started the advocacy role with state government. So we were able to distill the challenges that the average entrepreneur who is going into manufacturing would face, because it is quite daunting. And to just tell these manufacturers that we're here for you, we will support you. Just tell us what challenges you have and we'll work with you to be able to overcome some of them. Naturally, we can't assist in overcoming all of them, but that's how we approached it.
So how easy is it for a small business to access a BOI loan?
It's as easy as they want it to be. Actually, there are various categories of small business. There are the small businesses that were already there, that that we can put into cooperative.
Okay.
When we put them into cooperative, it is less difficult. The challenge there is in finding people of like mind, because we like to put them in a cluster of the same product, not multi. So same product, getting people of like mind that have character, because that's a very serious issue, and they guarantee each other. At that level, it may not be too difficult. As you scale up and your business becomes bigger, we expect you to have been able to create some wealth. So you're expected to have some security of your own, because you're standing on your own, and you are expected to get security, and you're expected to also give security outside of the business yourself. So for us, it is quite easy to access our loans, but maybe the customers think differently.
So what's the average loan that you will say small to medium enterprises are getting from you? What will be the average?
Well, for the very small one, about 5 million. Then for the growing ones that have been nurtured out of that cooperative, it goes to 50. Then for these medium size, it's from 50 to like 200, 250. That's the kind of size of loan we're talking about.